find out how to do stuff. And it gives you, I mean, for me personally, and I know several of our other members, it's created that feeling in you of, I can do stuff. You know, like when you're sitting at home by yourself and you see cool projects online, you're like, oh, that's cool, I wish I could do that. But then when you're around other people and you have access to tools, you can try stuff, and it makes you sort of like believe in yourself. Like you can accomplish things even if you don't know how to do them now.
It's a total kickstart to everything.
Yeah.
Because instantly, if you don't know how to do something, it's likely that in the space somebody else does know how to do it, and so it really helps out. And, you know, projects that you started before that you were languishing in, you know, suddenly get done in no time because someone else knows.
It makes you more ambitious. Yeah. It's like, well, that's crazy, but let's just try it, and then you know you'd be surprised.
Yeah, because at least then you have someone to drive you to the hospital.
Yeah.
It's so wonderful once you try it. So, yeah, so, I don't know, Jeff, Michael, you want to add anything?
Yeah, I think I mean, we're really in this unique time where I feel like there's no excuse to not being able to do anything because the information's on the internet. And we can learn very quickly by searching, you know, Googling something, but at the same stretch, I feel like you can learn 10 times as fast by asking somebody in your space. I mean, I feel like the classic example for me was when I was learning about electronic components. I didn't know anything really about electronic components, and I would ask somebody in the New York hackerspace, I'm like, well, what's this? And he would say, oh, it's, you know, he gave me a metaphor to describe it. I'm like, I still don't understand. Well, it's this. Oh, I kind of get it. He's like, well, how about this? So the person gave me 3 examples, you know, metaphorical descriptions of what it is, and I understood in less than 15 minutes. And it would have taken me hours searching on the internet to do that. And, you know, I think you don't want to always be asking somebody this, that, and the other thing. I think there's always kind of encouragement to check it out on your own and also help each other. But it's, I think it's really magical in that way because we're getting beyond the internet now. We're really leveraging the internet and people and community to really make ourselves smarter and, you know, and build that synergy between people that makes us really productive and have a good time.
Yeah, so like I've been to a good many of these spaces, a lot of them. I haven't been to all because it's possible to go to all. And like I've thought about them and I've talked to a lot of people there. And in the end, the one conclusion that I can really have, like, what the hell is going on, is people are teaching themselves. That's it. They're each other. And each other. By any resource available, they're teaching themselves. Like, whether it's materials, whether it's the internet, whether it's their friends, they're trying to figure out whatever they want to figure out. And I think that's a really important thing for people to do. This like path of self-directed discovery. It's probably an issue with our education system that's causing this need, but it's really fundamentally about people teaching each other and themselves.
Yeah.
I was going to add real quick, when everybody's talking about not knowing how to do something, one of the first things for a new member to do is they have to make their own key. They give them a blank. And so we have the key making machine, so we don't make the key for them. They have to make their own key. So that's one of the things we did and we try to do. The other thing is, I'm a computer programmer. I made this T-shirt. I mean, they had everything there. They showed me how to do it. They walked me through it. But I mean, it's not a perfect T-shirt. But I made this T-shirt, and I never made a T-shirt before. But just like I never made my own key before. So we try to show people how to do things and help people, you know, do stuff new that they've never done before.
Yeah, that's just really great. So that's what comes from sharing and learning and inspiring one another. We get to do things we never knew we actually wanted to do and change the directions of our lives in incredibly positive ways. So, you know, so there's no single definition of what a hackerspace is, but hopefully you're getting a feeling for it. As we go on, we're going to be talking about how to start your own, because if all the people here, which is most of the people who've never been to a space, it might be because there's not one in your community, or maybe you just don't know about one in your community, but you can start one. That's how it happens, absolutely. You can start one, and that's the only way it happens. I started Noisebridge with a friend, and now there's over 100 members. All these people became part of the space as one person wanting a space. So I hope you'll get that out of this as we go along too. But one of the reasons why there's no definition of exactly what a hackerspace is because there's no definition of what a hacker is. In the mainstream media, a hacker is someone who illegally breaks into computers and does stupid shit. Okay, but the word hacker has existed long before the mainstream media usurped that word. It started off in, I think, the 1950s at MIT with a bunch of model railroad enthusiasts, and they started using the word hacker. So for me, the word hacker refers to people who learn as much as they can about a given realm. It doesn't even have to be tech. They learn as much as they can about it because they're way into it. And then they share it with the world. They improve upon it and share it with the world. So if you ask 1,000 hackers what the definition of hacker is, you'll get 1,000 different answers. That's only mine. But again, that adds to the diversity of things, which is why each space is unique, which is why each space forms with a culture that they want to be a part of, which attracts more of that and it grows from there. So different spaces all have different kind of focus. Any kind of group, there's going to be people who won't fit in and people who do. It's not because the space is exclusive. Pretty much all spaces, everyone is welcome. However, not everyone's going to like it and stick around. And a lot of that has to do with the people who form it and the culture they started. A lot of it has to do with what kind of projects the space starts making, and that evolves and grows over time too as new people come. Because no matter who we are, we know a lot of things pretty much no one else knows. And there's a lot of people around us that know stuff that we don't have a clue about. And there's stuff that we can learn from one another no matter what. But does anyone want to talk about projects that are going on at your space that you think are just totally cool?
We'll talk about a few. Actually, our space, I think one of the great ways to start a hackerspace is to begin offering classes. And I think for our group, since we have a lot of people that are into music and also into engineering and software, we start by just offering the most basic class we can about how to build a music synthesizer. And I think those are really fun projects because it really gets everybody engaged. And also it's fun, it's noise, and it involves all age levels. And so that's pretty fun for a lot of us because it gets everyone sort of on one level in terms of a basic level of screwing around with electronics and music, which is really great times. And then it allows all of us to kind of iterate in our own different ways based on our own experiences. If somebody's got a background in ceramics, how can that play a part in making some sort of musical instrument? And someone might have more of electronics background, and those combinations end up being really fun. So we like the music there.
Anyone else?
So obviously, like the two biggest projects that I can think of for my space is how to form a community and how to keep a community going. Like seriously, that's what we need to figure out. And the people that come on Tuesdays, which are organized, those are the people that are making that project happen. The third most important project we're doing is our bio lab, which is pretty sweet. It's developing quite nicely. And that just happens to be a case that we live in Ann Arbor. We're next to this big university. People go and get to play with big, expensive tools. And then they figure out, like, hey, this thermocycler, it's like, it's a thermistor and like, maybe a Peltier and a couple of other things. Let's make a thermocycler. And these people are, they're using the skills that they would normally have to have a multi-million-dollar facility and redeveloping it into a $2,000 facility.
To do DIY buy.
So, the most important project is the people that work on keeping the community going, making sure this place exists.
So we have 700 members in Menlo Park. We've been at it for 4 years. There's a wide range. I'll hit a bunch of them, and then I'll talk about two that are particularly kind of wickedly cool. So desktop diamond manufacturing device was pretty cool. The winner of the LA Red Bull open box derby was really cool. The world's fastest electric motorcycle was partially built on site. A team that picked up a $3 million Department of Energy grant has just built a liquid-cooled server cabinet company. Square just launched a peer-to-peer transaction processing company and picked up a $10 million round from folks in Silicon Valley. There was a nitrogen detection company that picked up, we think, about a $5 million round. They won't confirm that in a Series A. But the two that I think are particularly cool, there's one. Recently, I was talking about classes. So we teach 170 classes.